Hi. Today I'll be talking about the season finale or series finale of Barry, which was a great show. I had some flaws with it. I'm not going to talk about the flaws today. I'm just going to talk about the finale. That's it. And then I might talk about the flaws, the whole review of this series, some other video. Which you should also check out Secession, which also ended, and I also made a video on it. Check that out. It's going to be on this playlist. And yeah, let's continue to this review. So let's first start with Sally confessing to Barry's kid, or her kid. I don't know why I said Barry's kid. Her kid about Barry's past and how he was evil and stuff. And that will later play on to how his son looks at the movie that was made about him. I'll get into that later. Let's move past that. Hank got the death he deserved, and I think everyone can agree on that, right? After he killed Cristobal, he's a funny, charismatic guy. We like him, but he got the death he deserved, right? Uh, and it was a great ending for him. Holding the hand of the statue of his lover, great ending. Uh, Fuchs letting go of his past, him holding the grudge and anger towards Barry, but then him seeing his kid, and then finally letting go of all that anger was a great ending to Fuchs' story, right? And now to the main character, Barry. He has opportunities to do the right thing this whole episode with his wife Sally telling him, just all these signs telling him to, but he uses the excuse of religion, luck, all of that mumbo jumbo excuse. But then he finally at the end, confesses or tries to confess. But then Jean kills him, which I think is a perfect ending to the Barry story, right? He finally forgives himself, not forgives himself. He just finally realizes his mistakes and does try to confess, but then gets killed, which shows that at least he had some kind of forgiveness at the end. Don't forget about the bad things he did. That's why he got killed. But he had some kind of forgiveness and kind of accepted his fate, which is a great ending. Um, and then the time jump in the episode. Usually time jumps, my opinion, or I think most people might say, are kind of lazy writing. Because they just move past the character development and just move past all that that personal attachment that we have to the characters and just makes it a time jump and kind of just writes it off and explains it, and it doesn't really work sometimes, but in this show it worked. I like the time jump. It played its role perfectly, which is the movie, and I'm gonna get into that now. The movie blaming Jean was a really good twist, right? When I first saw the movie, it's like, oh, they're just gonna paint Barry as evil, but I was like, oh wait, no, they're gonna go the Jean route and blame Jean, like how everyone's gonna blame Jean, or did blame Jean. Obviously, they showed you that they did, and what that really shows is that if Jean at that moment before he killed Barry didn't kill Barry, allowed him to confess, allowed him to go to a straight path towards justice, right? Justice, then he would have been a free man because he had Barry about to confess. But then his anger, which is I think the theme of the show, your anger clouding your judgment and just making you a bad person. His anger clouded his judgment. He shot Barry, killed him. Now he's in prison forever. If he just waited and allowed Barry to confess, allowed him to talk, confess, he would have been a free man. And that was a great story, great theme of just patience, letting go of anger, which is what Fuchs did, and now he's, I'm assuming, living a happier life compared to Jean, which is not living a happier life in prison, obviously, right? And that ending with that character, Jean, Fuchs, Barry, which, okay, I'll be honest, I knew Barry was gonna die. That's kind of a, you could assume that Barry's gonna die, but it was still done in a great way, right? But all those endings of all those characters were great. The show still had its comedic parts in it, and its sad parts just blended in together well. And yeah, the show, the series, this episode, great episode. I liked it. Its flaws I'll talk about some other time. I don't think this is the right time to talk about it, but overall I was happy with everyone's ending, and it was a great ending to the show. And yeah, as I said before, check out my Secession review. It's gonna be on this playlist, and yeah, I'll hopefully see you guys some other time, and subscribe.